Good morning, everyone. I am super excited for an in-person interview with Dr. Stefan Parent. My name is Jason Brooks. I'm a pediatric orthopedic surgeon from the Scottish Rite Hospital for Children, and I'm here with my colleague,
Ryan Fitzgerald. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm a part of Children's Orthopedic and Scoliosis Surgery Associates.
and we're here for another episode of Scoliosis Dialogues. And there is a really exciting meeting coming up, IMAST in Ireland, and we're here with the program chair, Dr. Parent. And so we're just here to learn a bit more about this meeting and learn a bit more about what to expect. But before we get into that, Dr. Parent, please tell us a little bit more about where you were born and kind of how you got to the field of spine deformity.
Oh boy, we're going to those places. Okay. I didn't expect that. So I was born in a very small village between somewhere in rural Quebec. So those of you who know a little bit of the geography, Montreal, Quebec City, in between there's a small city called Trois-Rivières, or Three Rivers, and then north of that. It was a very small village with lots of room to play and all that stuff. So I grew up in a very rural area, and then I went to medical school. Got my my sports was handball, so I tore my ACL, had a few knee operations, but I found that the orthopedic surgeon taking care of me had a great job. Like, he was doing surgery with scopes and stuff like that, so it got me interested. So very early I decided to go into orthopedic surgery, and then while doing an elective in France, I saw spine surgery for the first time, and then I saw the light. I just said, this is great. It's the closest thing that you can do to touching the brain or the spinal cord. So it was all super interesting. And then I met my mentor, Dr. Labelle, in Montreal, and he even pushed more the boundaries of me understanding 3D and all that stuff. So one thing led to another. Now I'm a pediatric orthopedic spine surgeon with an interest in 3D deformity. So. Yeah,
that is really, really cool. Now, I think a lot of people respect people who just get their MD, but you have an MD and PhD, which, makes you doctor. What made you pursue that more academic route, or is that a specific for becoming an academician in Montreal where they kind of want people to have a PhD also?
I'm actually the first one who completed his PhD during his residency. Like I did this, I didn't like to sleep. But the idea was that I was interested in research. I met Hubert Labelle, and he had this idea of a research project. So we started a master's, and fairly early in the process, we found out that this could be a big project. So we just asked the university to do a transfer from master's to PhD. And then so there's a way of doing this, and then did my PhD, added an extra year to my residency, so did my residency over 6 years instead of 5, but got my PhD and my residency at the same time. So came back, and it was great.
Incredible. Wow, it really is. So thank you for the introduction, and it's good to meet the program chair. Now, this year's IMAST is typically SRS's meeting that's the most cutting edge, new techniques, new technologies. And so that's kind of the general format for it. But this year you have big shoes to fill, because last year we had IMAST in Miami.
Yeah.
Beautiful location. This year we're going back across the pond to Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little teaser? How are you going to get a leg up on last year's program?
Super excited. I think that last year was our first real meeting coming together after COVID and all that stuff. So there's still people were having some apprehensions, but a lot of people were happy to see each other. But I expect this year's meeting to be even more interesting and better attended, because COVID is getting behind us. So it's really time to go back. European meetings usually draw a lot of attendees because the location is different. It's not in the US, so European people are easy. It's easier for them to go there. People from Asia Pacific are also closer by. So it's a good mix. And then obviously it's difficult to beat the Miami weather, but in Dublin we'll have the great outsides. There's golf you can do, and then obviously it's one of the best places in the world for beer and for whiskey. So I think that
Guinness and Irish whiskey.
So we should be fine.
Beautiful. Now looking through the program, it looks like there's a big section that's really hands-on. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of that or what we can anticipate in that this year?
Yeah, so the hands-on workshops are something that are very peculiar to IMAST. It's the way that we can attract our industry partners to come in and have time with the attendees. So they're sponsoring these events. We have 5 places in the program where we'll have hands-on workshops. They're usually around either breakfast or lunch. There's even a late afternoon session on Friday where we will have discussions, have different faculties from the industries, sponsored by the industry, come in and describe their experience with new technologies or cutting edge technologies. So this is going to be an interesting part where we can interact with the industry. It's a very privileged way of having this relationship with the industry because not many other meetings have this, and it gives a chance to the industry to showcase their newest technologies.
It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And on that front, we were looking to the program, and there's a really interesting talk that Peter Newton is going to have early on, talking about how to effectively navigate your relationships with industry as you're building your career in spine deformity. Why did you feel like that was an important topic to have for a meeting like IMAST?
This actually, those sessions that are the ICLs, and some of them were submitted by our membership, and this one was actually submitted by some members, Amit Analai and Michelle Worlborn, and I know that Michelle did something similar at POSNA, but the idea here is to see how we can innovate while maintaining an appropriate relationship with industry. So how do spine surgeons that are innovative, how can they promote their ideas without feeling that they are bought by the industry or that they have that the relationship is too close and that they cannot get out of the relationship. So I think that the ethics and then the actual way that you can navigate a specific idea when you have an idea as a surgeon, that's a super interesting session, and it will generate a lot of discussion.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, having Dr. Newton give that talk, he's going to help us all learn quite a bit.
I agree.
That's excellent. There's going to also be a white cloud session where potentially award-winning papers on innovative topics in spine deformity will be given. How do you go about selecting the papers that are going to be presented during the white cloud session?
That question is very timely. We just completed the review process. It's a painstaking process that we have a group of reviewers that do this on their free time. We received over 900 applications and we selected only 65 papers, or 63 papers for this year. So we only had room for 63. So it's really the top of the top of the top. And the white cloud session is those 15 papers that rank the highest. So among all the different topics and all the reviewers, these are the most interesting and most innovative talks that we were able to find in the program or in the abstract that were submitted. So White Cloud typically has been super well attended. It's the first session on the Thursday morning after the hands-on workshop with the industry. We start the meeting with this. It should be a packed attendance on Thursday morning.
Fantastic. Awesome. The only way for it to be packed is for you to be there.
Oh, yeah.
We will certainly be posting as much of it as we can on social media. You'll be able to see the White Cloud award-winning paper as well. The only way to truly get every bit of it is for you to be there. So please consider joining us in Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. And, we appreciate all your time and coming to sit and talk with us.
Absolutely. And we want to mention that registration for IMAST opens up December 7th. And so that will be happening soon, probably as soon as this podcast episode is posted. In addition, we encourage you all to download the SRS app, particularly the meeting app for the IMAST meeting, because you will be able to at least view the program there and actually prepare for this upcoming meeting. So
if I may, one last thing.
Absolutely.
We changed the format this year of IMAST. It was a meeting that started usually on Wednesday and ended up on Saturday. The board was very helpful in modifying this, and they dropped the Saturday morning session. So it's from Wednesday evening, that starts with cases and cocktails, which is great, usually a way to start. And then 2 full days of meetings presentations that will end with expert techniques and the 30 years of innovation on Friday night. So these sessions will pack your 2 days. So it's a very condensed meeting, but over 2 days. So you get the most in terms of time away from your practice. In 2.5 days, you should be getting everything done. And then on Saturday, you can fly back home.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
So no reason why y'all shouldn't be there now, right? You still get to enjoy the weekend with your families. Looking forward to seeing you all in Ireland. Dr. Parent, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
The Scoliosis Research Society is a nonprofit professional organization made up of physicians and allied health personnel. Their primary focus is on providing continuing medical education for healthcare professionals and on funding and supporting research in spinal deformities. Please visit srs.org for further information.